How's it going, guys, and welcome back for another video. Today's video I'm going to answer a question that I've gotten a lot. How do you pseudo-nuke? Now, I think that I found the best way to explain it and the most easy way to explain it, hopefully. So if you guys experience any issues when explaining this, go ahead and leave a comment down below and I'm gonna be sure to do it better next time. Now, what we need to do and what we need to talk about is order of entities and GameTicks. The first thing on the list is order of entities, and that, ladies and gentlemen, can be confusing. And I'm gonna promise you guys, I'm gonna try to do my best to actually make you guys understand it. So, coming into order of entities pretty much tells you what is going to happen first. So let's say that you have two pieces of TNT. Now the first one you ignite is this one over here, and then you ignite this one. Then right there you already created an order of entities, which means that you activated this one, you moved this one, activated, pushed it, ignited, flint and steeled it, whatever. This one first, and then this one, which means your order of entities is that this one going to explode, and then this one is. The same goes with sand. If you, oops, there we go. If you have two pieces of sand, right, here's two pieces. Now, if you take this one first, and then you take this one, and you make this one fall before this one, then you know that this one here is going to fall before that one, because the order of entity tells you. Now let's say there is two pieces of sand in the exact same block. Well, how do you know which one is actually going to stack first? Well, it's pretty simple. Order of entities pretty much says that whatever you move first, activate first, dispense first, whatever is going to stack first. So if I have two pieces of sand doing this, then I know that the first sand that I placed is going to stack first, and I'm going to demonstrate that right now by having sand in one and gravel in the other one. You know that these pistons here goes in at the exact same time, which means that we're going to have sand and gravel falling at the exact same time. So how is it gonna look like? Alright, so now it's changing between sand and gravel. So as you can see, it's starting with the sand and then goes to gravel and sand, gravel, sand, gravel, sand, all the way up. But why does it do that? Well, that's because this piston right here, before any of the other ones, is going in first, which means this sand is getting interacted with first. Then the gravel on the other side, then the sand, then the gravel, and so on and so on. So this one here is in theory moving first, which means it's going to stack first. And to make it even more complicated, let's go ahead and have sand in the bottom and then gravel and have it like that. Well, what's just gonna happen then? Well, if order of entities is right, it is going to stack like that. So we are going to see sand first. We are going to see 30 sand, 30 gravel, 30 sand, 30 gravel, 30 sand, and so on and so on. And why is that? Well, that's because whatever you did is that you're moving both gravel sides first, then the sand, then the gravel, and so on and so on. And it stacks 30 sand first because it is 15 long, which means this side here is 15 gravel, this right here is 15 gravel, which is a total of 30 gravel. So we know when we go over here and take a look, here we go, 30 gravel. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much order of entities. So whatever you activate first, flint and steel first, move first, whatever is pretty much going to stack first or explode first. Now comes the tricky part, order of entities. Now, order of entities is pretty much simple when you understand it. One redstone tick is equal to two GameTicks. The day changes in GameTicks, which is 24,000 GameTicks. Fireworks changing GameTicks, spawners spawn in GameTicks, chicken lay eggs in GameTicks, even pistons moving blocks is in GameTicks, and yeah, TNT traveling is also in GameTicks. So what does that mean? Well, that means that GameTicks is pretty much anything that has to do with moving objects, moving the sun, moving the moon, pretty much anything to do with the game itself. And with pistons, we can actually manipulate that to actually be able to use that in our cannoning. But in theory, we have redstone ticks and we have GameTicks. Two different things, because GameTicks controls a different part of everything, which means that redstone ticks, while that is controlling whatever you can find in the redstone right here, GameTicks controls whatever you see, like the sun. So if you want to have it, go ahead and mix that up with your sand compression, you can actually, instead of having gravel stack, sand stack, gravel stack, sand stack, you can actually, with GameTicks, make let me see. Yeah, you can make sand stack, gravel stack, sand stack, gravel stack, which in theory are going to show out and going to show you guys right now that it is going to be 15 instead of 30, Now that is a huge game changer, because now not only do we have 15 sand in between, as you can see right here, we have 15 sand. Then we have 15 gravel, 15 gravel, 15 sand, 15 gravel, 15 sand. So because we are doing that now, we can get a piece of TNT in between every single one of these stacks right here. So instead of 30 now, we have 15 using GameTicks on one side of the sand compression. Now OrderOfEntities, regardless if you are putting it in the same comp or whatnot, you can have TNT out here, which is the pseudo. Now what this right here does is that this piece, or this dispenser right here, after you have pulled the pistons in and the sand is starting to travel down, then when the first sand line have traveled down, this one ticks. When the second has traveled down, this one ticks. So every single time it's forcing it to stack TNT in between right here, and that's OrderOfEntities. So it has nothing to do with the cannon itself, the hammer and the power. It's all to do with the sand compression and this little contraption over here. Just using OrderOfEntities, we can get sand or TNT in between. But how do we do that? Over here, I have one where there's no pseudo, so let's go ahead and quickly add that actually right here. So what we need to be focusing around right here is OrderOfEntities and GameTicks. Now, the GameTicks is pretty simple. All you gotta do to make this work is to add this right here. 2 pistons with redstone blocks. Now, how you wire it up from here doesn't really matter. But what I did right here is that I made this one here travel down, and then 2 ticks after, this one here travels down. Now you can go ahead and work around how you want to do it. Personally, I like it this way, but what you can do is just play around with it. Make sure that they fall they're close to the exact same time, and once you have that, and you can get those 15 sand stacking right here, as you can see right here, once you have that, you're pretty much good to go, and you can start on the pseudo. Now the pseudo is somewhat more tricky, but let's go ahead and have a quick look on how we can do that. So what you need to make sure of is that you need to figure out how many layers that this sand compression uses, because the amount of layers it uses, like the amount of sand lines and gravel it uses, that's the equal amount of dispensers you need with different timings, because you want a TNT in between every single one of these. So what you need to do is stack it all the way up. Now go ahead and quickly set this to a full block, and then all you gotta do is just press the button, and then it's going to show you exactly how many layers it uses. So let's go ahead and count this sand right here first, which is the redstone side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 right here, and of course we're going to go on the other side, and you can see that right here is 8. So 9 times 2 is 18 minus 1, that is 17 layers. So now that we have that, we know that we are going to need 17 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we need to go on top. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There we go. So now we have 17, but this looks kind of awkward. So let's just go ahead and fill the rest out. There we go. So it just looks good. You don't need it, but it just looks better. Now let's go ahead and fill out these areas right here where we are going to have repeaters. All right, there we go. So now there's repeaters in between all of these. So now we are going to need a booster. There we go. I'm going to add a quick booster right here. There we go. And we're going to make a booster like this. Alright, so now that we have the booster, the first thing we need to do though is to check that this booster here is actually working, because it's really important. So what we need to do is that we need to quickly add something like this to be able to ignite these dispensers, of course. We're gonna need a repeater on each side. There we go. But hey, now we have a problem, because what is going to happen now is that these right here is going to go off at the exact same time. So instead of having 20, we now only have 10. But now, if you do this, then we have 20, because we don't want them to go off at the exact same time. There we go. So now let's go ahead and grab some glowstone. Put this up like this. There we go. Actually, I want the bottom one right here to be stone. There we go. And then quickly add this. So here we are. Now to quickly test the booster, just go ahead and add random ticks. It doesn't really matter what ticks it is. We're going to remove it here in a second. Then what we need to do now is fire the booster just to make sure it works. Of course, remember to TNT fill it first. That helps a lot. But here we are. There we go. So make sure it works. Everything ticks. There we are. Everything gets fired over. Perfect. Oh my god. Yeah, we did it first try. Awesome, guys. Now what we need to do is that we need to figure out how much we can delay this booster right here. We need to figure out how much we can delay it because we want it as late as possible. So go ahead and do something like that. There we go. Put a repeater. Go something like that. And just go ahead and actually go ahead and add something like that. Yeah, that's fine. Then go ahead and take the power off. We don't need that. And we don't need the hammer either. We don't want to lag out. There we are. So now we can press the button. And then let's see if this one right here will travel with the sand out. Okay, that was way too late. Actually, that was way too late. And it's probably easier to show you guys if we do something like this. And then add this right here. There we go. And there we go. So now you'll be able to check it easier. Let's go ahead and take a look. This one here is extremely slow. Okay, yeah, that's way too late. Well, actually, I'm going to cheat a little bit because I know that one full repeater is exactly enough. But you can go ahead and test it and just try to delay it as much as possible. And at some point, you're going to see, well, it didn't work. Just go ahead and keep adding or removing until you find just that juicy spot. Once you found it, and that's a full repeater in my case, go ahead and delete this again because we need to count ticks now because we need this one here to start ticking off as soon as the sand falls. But before we can do that, we actually need to count ticks. So from the bottom, we count 1. Let me fix this one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And up here, we have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 ticks in total. So from the bottom, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And go ahead and add this one here. Oops. And then we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. These right here is the total ticks that we need for it to be 16. What we need to do now is we need to... Actually, I want to move this around a little bit. I want this one to be here and something like that. Yeah, that looks good. But then you can see we kind of have an overlap right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one there. And then we can move this one over here. Something like that. Yeah, that looks a lot better. So now that we've done that, we need to carry on and do the other side over here, which is the GameTicks side. Now you're going to need these 2 pistons as I told you about, so we can add that in here. That should be pretty simple. There we go. Now I can move this one like that and have that and then go in like that. Yeah, that will probably work. And then this is going to ignite that one. Going over here and down here. Oops, down there. Yeah, so this one here is going to work fine. As long as we have the GameTicks in, we're pretty much good to go. So what we need to do now, though, is that first of all, this one here is going to tick. And then it's going to tick these over here. That's going to tick this, this, and this, and this, and blah, blah, blah. But now that we have this set up, it should actually work. So TNT fill. And let's go ahead and have a test shoot, actually, already now. Make sure we enable everything again, the hammer and the power. And then let's go ahead and just YOLO it and see what happens. So we know that there's going to be pseudo holes now, but we don't know exactly how many. So let's go ahead and shoot. And we can see that nothing is here. Okay, so we get a little bit of holes down at the bottom right here. Actually every single time, but other than that, nothing at the top, which means we need to add delay. But since it works at the bottom, I think we should leave these 2 starter ones right here at the start, because that seemed to work out well. Then add ticks right here. There we go. Add ticks like this, so it gets a little bit more delay, so it gets a little bit more time to tick down. And then let's go ahead and reset. Alright, let's fire one more time. And now I think our ticks is actually right. Now this one here is probably the tricky part, getting the ticks right. But you just have to follow the holes. And as you can see, that worked out pretty well. We got holes all the way down. Every single 15 blocks we have a hole, which equals up to a total of 17 holes. Amazing. How can we learn from this? Because now with that you know how to make a pseudo, you might find yourself in a position where the ticks is just wrong. Like there's something wrong with the ticks, you can't really figure it out. Well, what you gotta do is that you have to look at the holes. If it's only at the bottom, well, that means that this one over here is ticking too fast, so that it doesn't really get all the way up. But if you only see it at the top, that means that it is too slow, which means that it's going to tick after the sand have fallen. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You just have to play with it and you're gonna find the right ticks. But hopefully this one here helped you guys out, and hopefully this one here taught you a few things about order of entities and GameTicks. But most of all, guys, I want to thank thank you so much for watching this video here. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I can't thank you guys enough. I'm almost at 9,000 subs, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And as always, guys, make sure you like this video here. Comment down below if you have any questions, suggestions, whatsoever. And as always, guys, make sure you are subscribed to my channel. My name is Dexter, and I'm out.